Noor is a hardworking young man who has always wanted to be an adventurer, but due to him being a failure and his ungodly lack of talent, he was only ever able to learn one basic skill: parry. Noor has always been a hard worker. Even as a kid, he would do everything he could to help out his mom since she was really sick at the time. After handing her a cup of water, Noor needs to go feed the goats for the day, so he's going to take them up to the hills, but before he goes, his mom reminds him that he shouldn't go past the rocks that have been laid out, and Noor promises to be careful. He says he will also get some wild rabbits and nuts for dinner, and his mom is happy to have such a good kid, but she knows she isn't going to last much longer, so she calls Noor back to her, and while wiping the dirt from his face, she apologizes for not being able to do anything for him as his mother, but she asks Noor to please live life the way he wants to after she's gone. That night, Noor was making dinner, but as he goes to give his mom some soup, to his horror finds that she has passed on. Noor is deeply saddened by this, but after burying her, he decides to fulfill his mother's final wish and live his life for her sake. Noor doesn't really have any big ambitions, but he works hard to keep up his daily routine. Although it has gotten a lot more lonely in the house. Late at night, Noor is searching the top of his shelf when he accidentally falls over and grabs an old book. This is the same one his father used to read to him back when he was alive, about an adventurer and his many outstanding adventures across the lands. Dragon slaying, learning magic, and even dispelling a curse. Remembering these stories gives Noor a new goal to achieve. So for the next day, Noor dumps a lot of hay for the animals to eat while he's gone. And then he visits his parents' graves to tell them that he has found an ambition to strive towards, so he is going to do everything he can to become one. He says his final goodbye to his parents' graves and his childhood home before turning to embark on his adventure and crossing the barrier around his home for the first time. After leaving his home, he spends the night out in the woods, and by the next day, he has finally made it to the big city. He walks up to the city gates to ask about the location of the Adventurers Guild, and the guards are nice enough to point him in the right direction. Noor walks through the gates and is amazed by the sight he sees before him. This is more people than he has ever seen in his entire life, and they are all living in the same place. While walking through the streets, Noor bumps into an adventurer, and his eyes instantly light up even more as he remembers why he came here to begin with. Noor eventually arrives at the Adventurers Guild, and he is ready to make his dream come true. But the only thing standing in his way is the buff receptionist, who tells him that he is too young to become an adventurer and should just head home before his parents get worried. However, seeing as both of Noor's parents are 6 feet under, becoming an adventurer is the only thing Noor can aspire to do. The receptionist now understands Noor's situation a bit better, so he goes up to him and says Noor can become an adventurer. Most new adventurers aren't as young as him, but if he really wants to do it, he's not going to stop him. However, the receptionist has one condition. Noor must first go to a training school so that he can acquire some useful skills. It doesn't matter if it's swordsmanship, magic, or archery. Noor just needs to learn a useful skill. Noor is happy that he is being given a chance, so he immediately heads over to the training school to begin learning. As he arrives at the gate, he decides that he will learn swordsmanship, since the story from his adventurer book said the adventurer used a sword to slay a dragon in a single swing. Noor begins his training arc, but as he is practicing, a random background character unlocks his hidden potential. Noor sees this and is just motivated to work even harder, but by the time a few months have passed, all the other background characters have unlocked their abilities, and Noor is the only one who can't get anything special to happen. Eventually, the instructor tells Noor that he should stop, but Noor pleads with him for a little more time to practice. However, the instructor tells him that no amount of time is going to get him a sword skill. It has been months of training, and while it's unfortunate, if Noor hasn't gotten a skill by now, then he will likely never get one, so he should stop wasting his time. The only thing he has managed to learn this entire time is how to parry attacks, so the instructor advised Noor to choose a different profession since his talent may lie elsewhere. Noor is disappointed that he can't become a swordsman, but he takes his instructor's advice and goes to a different training school to learn how to become a warrior. But after several months of grueling training, all Noor has been able to accomplish is achieving a slightly better physique than before. The instructor can't let him continue training any further in this profession, otherwise it could become dangerous to his health. Noor still doesn't give up yet and tries becoming a hunter instead, but even that doesn't work as he destroys all the bows he tries to handle. Noor keeps trying various different professions, but no matter what he tries, he is only ever able to learn the weakest skills and is ultimately faced with the reality that he has no talents whatsoever. He returns to the Adventurers Guild to tell the receptionist what happened and the fact that Noor spent 3 months at every training school in the city, yet didn't manage to learn a single profession sounds impossible to him. However, while he feels bad for Noor, he can't let Noor become an adventurer when he doesn't have the skills necessary to survive as one. Noor returns home, having failed to achieve what he set out to do, but even though he knows that he has no talent for adventuring, he is still determined to overcome that by training even harder than before. He carves a practice sword out of wood so that he can begin his new training routine, and while he didn't manage to learn anything professions, he did learn a sword skill at the beginning, so he's going to keep training that skill in hopes that he may eventually unlock a new skill. He vows to train every morning, afternoon, and night, but even after a full year of training, Nor still hasn't managed to acquire a new skill yet. However, he is now able to parry 10 attacks at a time, so he knows he is at least improving a little. 3 years later, Nor's training has improved his parry skill to the point where he can now parry over 100 swords at once, yet he still hasn't gotten any new skills. So he continues training day and night until his sword ends up shattering in his hands. After 10 more years of this training routine, Nor's parry skill has developed to the point that he is now capable of the Mikiri parry and can parry an entire forest with one arm. But even with his godly parry skills, he still hasn't been able to acquire any new skills. At this point, he realizes that no amount of training is going to unlock a new skill for him. So Nor decides to give it one last try and head to the Adventurers Guild to see if he meets their requirements now. But as he gets there and writes down his skills, aside from parry, everything else is pretty much useless. She asks him if these are really all the skills he has, and Nor answers yes. So the receptionist suggests that Nor take a look at the training program so he can get some more useful skills. But Nor tells her that he has already gone to every training school in the city, and he hasn't been able to gain any useful skills in spite of it. The receptionist apologizes, but there is nothing she can do to help him register since his skills don't meet the criteria for registration. Just then, the former receptionist, Turned, who's now the guild master, comes out of the back to see what's going on, and Nor immediately recognizes him. But the man takes a minute to remember who Nor is since grew so big. Once he finally remembers Nor, he sits down with Nor and asks how he has been. So Nor tells him everything he has done since he last met the man, which was literally nothing but training. However, through all that training, Nor was only really able to improve his parry skill a little. The guild master tells Nor that there are different ranks of adventurers, and to become an E-rank adventurer, Nor would need to have at least 2 useful skills. But since he doesn't meet that criterion, he can't become an E-rank adventurer. However, that doesn't mean there is no way for him to become an adventurer, as there is a rank below E-rank, which just requires you to have 2 functioning brain cells. Nor is excited to hear this, but the good master tells him that there are conditions for this rank, meaning he is forbidden from taking on any quests that involve killing monsters or leaving the city to gather items. That restricts him to quests that are basically miscellaneous tasks that no one else wants to do. No one has ever been dumb or desperate enough to agree to become F rank, but there's a first time for everything as Nor asks the guild master to sign him up for it. The guild master doesn't think it's a good idea, but Nor is so insistent that he caves and gives him an F rank license. Nor is really happy and immediately runs off to complete his first quest by using his physical enhancement to carry a ton of goods for delivery. He also uses the rest of his weak skills to help him in day-to-day quests, and he finds it to be very fulfilling. He has finally achieved his dream of becoming an adventurer and being of use to the people around him, even if it's just F rank. So while he still dreams of being something more than a glorified errand boy, he is happy with what he has. By the next day, we see Nor start the day off by single-handedly clearing out a gutter for an old lady, after which he begins his construction job by carrying a metric ton of cement on his shoulders and making it look like lightweight. So by the end of the day, the construction foreman thanks Nor for all his hard work since they are way ahead of their usual schedule because of him. However, while the foreman is talking, Nor notices something coming from the dungeon behind him, and as he listens closely, he hears a girl screaming for help, and he's not going to act like he didn't hear her. So he starts sprinting to offer his aid. As he enters the dungeon, he finds a girl and her party being attacked by a huge minotaur, but Nor mistakes it for a big cow. He's never seen a cow this big up close, so Nor is stunned as the minotaur begins closing in on the girl and her party. The knights all try their best to defend her, but it's too late to try to escape now. So one of the knights just pushes the princess out of the way, but that results in him getting chopped in half. Nor tries to check on the fallen knight, but with him missing half his body, there's no way he survived that hit. The minotaur continues slaughtering all the knights until the only one left alive is the girl, and she is currently unable to move, so if Nor doesn't do something soon, she will die as well. He picks up a sword and grabs a rock to throw at the minotaur. This gets its attention, so the minotaur charges at him, and as it tries to stab Nor with its horns, Nor performs a perfect parry and sends it flying into a random building in the dungeon. The minotaur gets back up and begins striking at Nor with his axe, so Nor is forced to continuously parry the attacks, because a single direct hit would kill him. Normally, a person would only parry attacks in order to create an opening for a counterattack. However, Nor has no attack skill, so he is stuck on defense. The minotaur suddenly remembers the girl is still alive, so it goes over to finish her off. However, Nor isn't going to let that happen. So he uses his feather step skill to quickly get in front of her and counter the axe strike. This causes his sword to shatter, but that isn't going to stop Nor since he has made up his mind that even if he can't be an amazing hero, he will always stand and protect the weak. So as the Minotaur attempts to strike again, Nor uses the broken sword to perform a Mikiri counter and sends the Minotaur's axe flying back at it and cutting the Minotaur's head off. Nor is relieved that he managed to win the fight and save the girl, but as she gets up and thanks him, Nor doesn't want to accept any credit for it and leaves without even telling her his name. Nor still thinks of himself as a failure of an adventurer, and he is under the impression that the monster he just fought was just an overgrown cow, so in his mind, if he is still struggling this much with a cow, then he still has a lot of training to do. This was the end of episode 1. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to not miss the next part.